What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. The two champions at lightweight have been going back and forth on social media. And that's a damn shame, because I'd much rather them go back and forth in a ring, trading blows. But unified lightweight champion George Kambosos, who holds titles in the WBA, WBO, and IBF, and he holds a trophy in the WBC franchise status and WBC, the real WBC lightweight champion, Devin Haney. We're going back and forth about who's to blame for why this fight has not been signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. And it's a damn shame, man. It really is. And I'm going to tell you the real reason why this fight is not happening. And you can blame both fighters, actually. It's partly George Kambosos to blame, and it's partly Devin Haney to blame for the reason why this fight is not going to happen. And it's a damn shame, because we want to find out who the top dogs in a particular division. We ain't found out about who the top dog at welterweight because Spencer Crawford ain't got in the ring. And we still don't know who the top dog at lightweight, because from everything I'm hearing, we're not going to get a fight between George Kambosos and Devin Haney. And that's a sad state of affairs in the sport of boxing, man. But we ought to be used to this, man. Not getting the fights that we want, and not getting the significant fights that would define a particular division as far as the top fighter in that particular division. We're not gonna get Fury versus Usyk in the heavyweight division. It just goes on in the sport of boxing, man. It's a damn shame, man. And the reason why this fight is not happening, the one main reason why this fight is not happening is because there's not enough money in the fight. There's not enough money in the fight to satisfy both fighters. There's not enough money in the pot to satisfy each fighter's purse demands. What each fighter's going to want to make in this type of fight, which is going to be for undisputed at 135, is not enough money in the fight. The Zone, which has showcased several of Devin Haney's fights and has, quite frankly, overpaid Devin Haney. You look at what Devin Haney has brought to the table as far as subscriptions have been minimal, is that word? Minimal? It ain't been substantial by any means. And you look at the attendance for Devin Haney fights, have not been nothing to write home about, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell you. Now, George Kambosos said that he sold 500 tickets in his last fight, and he was there. The fight between Haney versus Jojo Diaz. Oh, yeah! He said that fight had 500 people in attendance. I don't believe that was the case. He might be talking about actual paid tickets. You know, they give out comp tickets, so I know it was way more than 500 people. So maybe if he just talking about actual tickets sold and them other tickets were basically comp tickets, maybe that is the case. But the bottom line is, the Zone has been overpaying for Devin Haney. It ain't Devin Haney's fault. You know, they give you a sweetheart deal, you take it. Kind of like the deal that Crawford had with Top Rank Boxing and ESPN. They basically overpaid for him. What they paid him is not it's not the return on investment that they was looking at when they first signed Terrence Crawford. And the same could be said with Devin Haney in the Zone. It's not the return on investment that they were looking for when they went into the business of Devin Haney. So that's just the real bottom line of the situation. If it ain't making dollars, it ain't making sense. That's the bottom dollar of the situation. And that's the main reason. Another reason why is Kambosos. Kambosos says that, hey man, come fight me in Australia, man. We can fight in one of those big football stadiums. Have 50,000 people in the stands. Have 50,000 people in attendance. What evidence do we have that you can draw 50,000 fans in Australia, George? Because the last big name fight out of Australia was Jeff Horn, I guess. He was Jeff Horn, he was welterweight champion. But he had a fight with a guy by the name of Manny Pacquiao. And I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I think those 50,000 fans that was in attendance was in there to see Manny Pacquiao more than they was here to see Jeff Horn. If Jeff Horn would have been fighting anybody else besides Manny Pacquiao, he wouldn't have had 50,000 people in attendance for that fight. So that was more of Manny Pacquiao being a worldwide recognized fighter. And he was coming to Australia, had never fought in Australia before, and 50,000 people came in attendance to see that fight. Of course, they was pulling for Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn was the home country fighter. He was the fighter from Australia. So, of course, they're going to pull for him. But if he's fighting anybody else in that same stadium, would they would have drawn 50,000 fans? I think not. So, George Kambosos has not shown that he's even on the level of Jeff Horn, let alone a Manny Pacquiao. So, I don't know what the evidence is. He assuming, I guess he's saying, well, my big win over Teofimo Lopez, where I was able to pull off the upset of 2021, which enabled me to become unified lightweight champion. That's going to have people excited in Australia, and they're going to come out in droves to watch my next fight, especially if I'm fighting a big-time fight against a big-name opponent. That's what he's saying. That's the case that he's stating. But I'm not so sure that's an actual, is a concrete case that he's bringing to the table. We have no evidence to support that. Now, a lot of people been speculating that Australia is not even open yet. They're saying, how can you put a fight of that magnitude in Australia and they're still shut down from COVID-19 restrictions and protocols? I'm here to tell you right now that Australia is not fully open right now. They will be fully open on February 21st. That's basically 2 weeks away. So you can set some things and some parameters and some outlines of a contract, and and everybody agree to it, and then you just wait to when we get to February 21st and make sure everything indeed gets open, and then everybody sign on the dotted line. That shouldn't be no obstacle as far as everybody agreeing to terms of a particular contract, because basically Australia said that we're gonna open up everything on February 21st. So that's 2 weeks away. So that shouldn't be a problem. But the main problem is, again, is the fight is not big enough to satisfy both fighters' purse demands. That's the main reason why this fight not happened. The Zone has told of, I guess, several boxing writers, in particular Dan Rafael. He's come out on his social media platform and said the Zone don't want to pay for a Haney fight. That goes back to what I said earlier. They overpaid for Devin Haney's because they was trying to make it big in America. They was trying to make a big splash here in the United States. And Devin Haney was the guy that they put their support behind. But it has not worked out for the Zone on the economic front. And that's the reason why they're not looking to put big money behind Devin Haney in a fight with George Kambosos. Now, George Kambosos is a network free agent. His promoter, Lou DiBella, is shopping him to the highest bidder. They're talking to ESPN. They're talking to the Zone. They might even be talking to the PBC. And he's looking for the best deal possible. And I think the preferred deal for Lou DiBella is for George Kambosos to take an interim fight, win that fight, and then take on Ryan Garcia if Ryan Garcia gets by his next fight against Emmanuel Tagbo, the guy from Ghana. That fight's going to take place on April 9th. I'm hearing the venue will be Alamo Dome. I'm not so sure if that's going to be the venue, but the fight's definitely going to be in the U.S. If he's victorious in that fight, then we will then see Ryan Garcia versus George Kambosos. I think that's more of a likely scenario than George Kambosos versus Devin Haney. We will see what happens, and we will see what transpires, but that's the reasons that we're here, the reasons that we're making life around. Yes, that's the reasons why this fight is not going to happen. So Devin Haney's going to have to make a decision, man. He's got to make a decision. He wants to stay at 135, or do he wants to go up to 140 and chase a belt there? Because from everything I'm hearing, Josh Taylor, after his next fight on February 26th against Jack Cottrell, if he's successful, he's going to move up to 147. So that will leave 4 titles vacant in the junior lightweight. In the junior welterweight division. That could be some situation where Devin Haney could go up there and chase some belts. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But look for Devin Haney next fight to be at 140, and look for George Kambosos next fight to be a top 15 opponent in one of the sanctioning bodies, and then fight Ryan Garcia at the end of 2022, because Ryan Garcia is fighting Tagbo. Tagbo is Lou DiBella promoted fighter, so you can see the roadmap for that particular fight to transpire. Now, another scenario is George Kambosos gets the Lomachenko fight in Australia, and that'll be a big fight against a big name opponent, against a pound-for-pound fighter. I don't think they get 50,000 in attendance for that fight, but they could do some good numbers for that fight. But I think they might need to put that fight in a arena up in Australia. They try to put that fight in a football stadium. Lomachenko does have a big name around the world. He is a guy that probably has a bigger name than Devin Haney if you're talking about world-known fighters. But again, he's not Manny Pacquiao, so he ain't bringing 50,000 fans in attendance, and neither is George Kambosos. But maybe they can do 25,000, half of that. And if they're able to do that, then they should be able to turn a profit for that fight. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts about Devin Haney versus George Kambosos as being dead in the water. It's not happening next. Let me know your thoughts about the zone saying that they ain't going to put no money behind Devin Haney. They don't believe Devin Haney is a draw here in the United States. Let me know your thoughts about George Kambosos saying that he can draw big numbers in Australia, even though there's no evidence, no proof to support those comments. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I holla.